welcome on back to the Cards Garage, and welcome to the third episode and the third day of the 12 Cards of Christmas. This nice series we've been doing leading up to Christmas, taking a look, opening up some cards, and taking a look at them. And most of them have been more forgotten about cards, and this one that we have today certainly is. So let's not waste any time. I got it right here in the package. I can't wait to show you guys because it's one I've always wanted to review because it's a card that many people probably don't know about. So without any further ado, let's just open it right now. So yeah, if you didn't know already what this card's name is, this is of course Celine Dephare. Definitely one of the oddest cars ever made, and not really on Mattel's part, really just on Pixar's part. I always never understood why there was a car in the Cars universe with eyes in her headlights. And to our knowledge, this is the only one like it. Now I'm sure there are a few others, because clearly it's not impossible. She's a fully living car with eyes in her headlights. Of course, I feel like that's always usually the case. Whenever there's a cartoon about what do you call that? Anthropomorphic, I think. Anyways, living cars. Whenever there's a living car in like a kid's TV show, it's always, the eyes are always in the headlights usually. And with cars, obviously, they're not. They're on the windshield, and obviously it looks so much better being on the windshield. They look more alive. They don't look creepy. Obviously, that's kind of the thing with Celine. She does look pretty creepy, and just a little odd looking. You may be questioning why I chose to review her for Christmas, but it wasn't really me that chose her. It was actually Brett, so thank you to him, and a little bit of Disney Docket as well. Both of them kind of suggested I do Celine Dephare. So, thanks to them. But anyways, she's actually based off of a 1966 Alfa Romeo Spider, 1600 I believe. As you can see that logo right there. I believe that says, probably the Alfa Romeo logo. I never realized. Oh yeah, it says Sportif on the side. See that? I mean, obviously she's an old car, but the thing is like she's not in very good shape. I mean, look at all the rust decaling all over her body, from front to back to the tops. Her bumper actually seems to be in perfect shape. But she's a car that's just obviously a minor background character. But I feel like she, I don't know, kind of is a little bit important to the Cars 2, where she appears. Obviously, if you don't know where she appears, she comes into the movie around the halfway point when Mater is just kind of, after they get off the train, the plane, after they get off of Italy, and he's just kind of getting acquainted with Finn McMissile and Holley Shiftwell. And they're going to Paris, obviously, to, I think, find out more information about the World Grand Prix, like sabotage from the Lemons and everything. But either way, Mater obviously is just driving around this Paris parts market, and he thinks, Finn tells him, don't go shopping, whatever you do, Mater. We're not here to go shopping. And Mater says, why would I go shopping? So then, of course, he gets distracted and goes shopping, kind of. He doesn't buy anything, but he does get very intrigued by each vendor in Paris that he drives by. And Celine Dephare is one of those vendors. There is a lot of other vendors, like Justin Partson. I forget the other ones. Oh yeah, Alexa Wilson, I think. There's a few other ones that Mattel released. Obviously, there's many of them. Only a few that Mattel released, and Celine was the first one. Obviously being released quite a long time ago. 11 years ago now, in 2011, right on the debut of Cars 2, but I think a little later, like not the first like wave of diecast. I think she was like, I don't know, a couple months down the road, maybe November, December she was released. So it's a good time to review her for the 12 Cars of Christmas, I guess, because I think she was released around that time. She may have been released in 2012 though, I'm not really sure. Either way, it was on the Cars 2 packaging, and she actually happens to be a Chase, which is really cool. And if I can find it, I'm going to go dig her packaging out later, because I know I have it. It's in my box of packaging under the stairs, so I'll go get that later. I almost forgot about that. That's actually pretty cool that I had that to show, because it's in perfect condition. I obviously opened her. I got her from Toy Wiz, which is like an Amazon partnered company, I believe. Obviously sells toys and Cars diecast, but unfortunately they don't ship to Canada anymore, so I can't buy from them anymore. But I did back in the day, probably about 5 years ago. I think I got Celine. Quite a few other good cars too I got, I believe. I think only for $17, which is a really good price, because Celine is pretty rare nowadays. In the package, she goes for around $45, I would say. Maybe even as high as like $60, but out of the package, I think you could probably sell her for about $20, $25, which is not half bad. But obviously, the real reason Pixar, I think, wanted to make these cars, I think because people have always kind of wondered, like, what would it look like in the Cars world if a car had headlights in their eyes? Oh wait, no, eyes in their headlights, I meant to say. And I think that's just why John Lasseter, the director, wanted to do that, just kind of throw it in there as a little gag. Obviously, Mater's actually completely scared of her when he first sees Celine. Like, he drives away at full speeds, and that's when he gets so scared he drives so far away that he finds Tombe, and then they had the whole Tombe chase scene, which is a great scene, great music. I know not a lot of people like Cars 2, but I don't know, I do. I certainly do. I really like, in fact, I think it's my favorite Cars movie, just because, well, I mean, I don't know, I guess it's most nostalgic, but also, I don't know, just a lot of fun. I love the music, and the settings are always amazing. There's just a lot to love in it, and the characters are so cool too. Like this, like we would never get this in Cars 3. Celine Dephare here. It's, you know, you had to have a crazy movie to put in crazy things like this. But anyways, as far as like decals and everything go, there really isn't any on her other than Sportif, which I would assume is just like a trim model. I don't know, on the Cars Wikipedia page it says she's based off of an Alfa Romeo, so I don't know if she really is one. I don't think so. I don't know what that logo says. Let me read it off camera. I don't know. It's got a French flag on it and a big S. I don't know what that means. I don't think that's the Alfa Romeo logo, but I'm not really sure. Cool little rusty wheels. Also, gray rims, but they're all full of rust. I can't read that either. What's it say? Yeah, I have no idea what that says on her wheels there. Unfortunately, I can't read that. But anyways, her license plate says CUR 10 S1 or SIT3. So, I don't know. On Wikipedia, it says that represents curiosity, which is, I guess, because you're curious about how she has eyes in her headlights. I don't know. That's what it said on Wikipedia, but that doesn't really make sense. I don't know if it's real or not. But either way, obviously, you can see right through it. Not so much on the diecast, because it still kind of has like opaque windows, so you can't really see much in. But, I mean, if you could, obviously, into the windows there, you would see she has seats made for people to sit in, and she has a steering wheel, she has a mirror, all things. Like, she's a fully functioning car. Someone can get in here and drive her around. Whereas other cars, like McQueen, Mater, every other car, pretty much, I don't know. Like, do they look like cars inside? Because their doors do open, I think, right? In Cars on the Road, we actually saw Mater's door open. But that was in, like, a dream sequence. It wasn't, like, completely real. Like, real. It wasn't actually happening. And, I mean, I think that was just a way of showing, like, Mater going back into his body. But anyways, I don't know. Like, I'm sure their doors can open, but if they did, what would be in there? Because obviously their eyes are right there. When they, like, most cars you can't see in. They're just, like, opaque windows in the movie. But if their eyes were right there on the windshield, like, wouldn't they even need to be connected to her brain, which would be, like, right there? So does Celine not have a brain, or where is it? I don't know. It's just very strange. It's something that we may never know. But I really wish Pixar would, like, explain that a little bit. I don't even know if they know, because it's very hard to make a car feel like it's living and alive. But I think they do amazing jobs at it. It's just hard to describe, like, the anatomy of a car, because it doesn't really make sense. Obviously, like, some car parts represent body parts, like an engine kind of represents your heart. Then again, you can get your engine replaced, whereas you can't really get your heart replaced, I don't think. I guess you could get a transplant, I don't know. But either way, like, wheels, tires aren't part of the body of a car. You know, it's almost like an equivalent to a shoe, because they obviously changed your tires. That's what people don't understand. Same with, like, Mac's trailer. It's not part of his body. And people always love to compare it to his stomach. So, like, when McQueen's in his trailer, it's like he's in his stomach. But it's not the case, because his trailer is not a part of his body. But anyways, there's a lot to talk about. And I just don't think we have the time today to talk about it. And this is a Christmas series, so we want to keep it, you know, a little bit Christmassy. But her eyes, to talk about her eyes for a second, I mean, they are pretty cool. Almost like translucent when you look at them. But obviously she does have a big plastic mouth plate, which was very common for cars in the 2011-10 kind of Cars 2 era there. But luckily Mattel doesn't do that anymore. And like I said, she was a chase. As for many, many cars in the Cars 2 original diecast line, there was many cars that were chases. Becky Whelan, Officer Murakami, Sir Harley Gassa, Prince William, Fabrizio, then all of the international versions of Mac Chanel. So there's so many of them. And I don't know why either, because it makes it hard to re-release any of them, because obviously the term of a chase is it can never be re-released. But as we know, this year, Lee Race, who was previously a chase in 2013, did get re-released. So I don't know. I would not say that it's impossible that Celine Dephare would come back. I think it could happen. Would I want Celine Dephare to come back and be re-released? Well, I don't know. It would definitely make her original one not as valuable, but I think it would be cool for people to be able to get Celine. She's just a very, like, not talked about car. No one really talks about Celine Dephare, so that's why I thought I'd add her in this series. She's the only Paris Parts Market car I have. The other ones, there's only a few others, but I think there's only 2 others, actually. I think it's Alexis Wheelson and Justin Parson. There might be a few others, though. But yeah, anyways, to talk about, like, what was Celine Dephare doing in the Paris Parts Market? Well, she's actually a headlights vendor, which is a little ironic because she doesn't have headlights. So, I don't know, I guess she just sells headlights in Paris. There's not much else just to say about Celine. Obviously, that's where Mater saw her ad. He comes up to her and he asked what she's selling. And she said, "Headlights, monsieur, headlights," in her French accent. And then that scares him off. Well, that's really Celine's scene. That's really her whole thing that she does in Cars 2. But either way, I think it's a cool little scene. It definitely raises some questions about the anatomy of a car. But I don't think it's, like, impossible enough to say that this breaks the fourth wall of the Cars world. I think it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a fun little car to add in there to say, hey, we have a car that has eyes in his headlights, or hers. But anyways, yeah, let's take a quick look at her base. I almost forgot. Oh yeah, so she was released in 2012. I'm glad I saw that now. Because it says 0902, which means that she was made in the 90th day of 2012. So, not much going on her base either. There's not many parts. It's mostly just flat. That's kind of weird. But I don't believe her model's ever been used anywhere else. I'm sure there was other models similar to her in the movie, but they never been released as a diecast. I don't think, at least, but it is kind of similar to the smaller Alfa Romeo cars that we have seen in Cars 2, like Kimberly Rims, I believe. Oh no, Korean Cabby, I think is his name. But yeah, those are the smaller ones. Oh, of course, Giuseppe Motorosi, which is Francesco Bernoulli's crew chief. Let me go get those two cars, and I'll be right back to compare them to Celine. Alright, so here are the two other Alfa Romeos we have to compare to Celine here. Here's Giuseppe Motorosi. I believe he's an actual Alfa Romeo. I don't know if Celine is or not. It says she's based off one. But he's pretty cool. He's just much smaller, obviously, than Celine. They are both red, though. Really just a shrunken down version. I wonder if in the movie, if they're supposed to be the same model, and Pixar or Mattel just kind of like botched the size. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I never really thought about that before. Because I didn't really know Celine was an Alfa Romeo. Or based off one. But here's Korean Cabby. Pretty much the exact same. Another forlorn release that could definitely get a review one day. But if I did him, I'd have to do Kimberly Rims because they're in a 2-pack together. But yeah, I mean, pretty similar cars, I must say. Even like, it just looks like the same car, just shrunken down in size proportion. Celine doesn't have any rear view mirrors though. But I guess actually makes sense because she wouldn't be able to really see through the mirrors. So I guess that's kind of clever. I wonder if that's why they did that. For good old Celine here. Celine or Saline, I don't know. On the website it says you're supposed to pronounce it Saline, but I don't think that's right. But anyways, I think that's gonna have to do it for Celine. I know I don't have many cars to compare to, but I don't know. She's just so unique. What else can I say? We have Mater here, who I think we should end the video with, because, I mean, he's really the only one nice enough to talk to Celine. No one else, I guess, wanted to buy anything from Celine at the Paris Parts Market. And again, Mater did run off screaming, so I don't know. I don't think Celine Dephare is as scary as she may look. I'm sure she's a very nice parts vendor down at the Paris Parts Market. But anyways, obviously, have a very Merry Christmas if you're watching this towards Christmas time. But this is the third day. And we still got many more videos to come from this series. We're actually a quarter way done now, so I guess a little bit of a milestone. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time on the Cars Garage.